Today, we're not just looking at another business strategy. We are literally deconstructing a powerful blueprint that is designed for one thing and one thing only: predictable profitability. This is about moving beyond just hoping a great product will sell and stepping into a world where you engineer a system that makes profit almost inevitable.
Just let that sink in for a second. It's a pretty radical idea, right? It suggests that the most successful companies aren't just getting lucky with some hit product. No, their profit is a direct result of the architecture of their offers, the deliberate, strategic, and often invisible way they've structured everything to guide you, the customer, on a very specific journey.
So that leads us right to the big question. What is this structural blueprint? What's the secret that can engineer a product portfolio to predictably, well, print money? The answer is a concept called offer architecture. And mastering it is a complete shift in how you think about selling, about value, and about what really drives a profitable business. It's less about the individual products and all about the system they create together.
To really get this, we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the profit paradox that trips up so many businesses. Then, we'll look at the market crisis that made this whole architecture so essential. After that, we'll deconstruct the three-tiered blueprint at its core, explore the fascinating psychology that makes it work, and then we'll get practical on how you can engineer your own. Finally, we'll see why this system is everything.
Okay, let's dive right in by tackling a huge misconception that just plagues entrepreneurs. We're taught to believe that if we just build a better product, a faster service, a cooler widget, then the world will beat a path to our door and the profits will just roll in. But the truth is, the business graveyard is absolutely littered with brilliant products that failed to make any money.
And this is what's called the great illusion of strategy. We pour all our time, all our money into perfecting one core product, thinking that its quality is the only thing that really matters. But here's the hard truth. A brilliant product inside a broken structure will fail, while a perfectly good product inside a brilliant structure can become wildly profitable. Profitability isn't some happy accident of quality, it's an engineered outcome of the entire portfolio's design, the offer architecture. So why this intense focus on structure? Why now? Well, this strategy wasn't just dreamt up in a comfortable boardroom. No, it was forged in the fire of a very real and escalating crisis that every single business, big or small, is facing right now. This chart really lays out the problem perfectly. For years now, the cost to get a new customer, your customer acquisition cost, or CAC, has been skyrocketing. I mean, think about it. Platforms like Facebook and Google are just more crowded and competitive than ever. At the same time, if your customer lifetime value, or LTV, that's the total profit you get from a customer over time, if that isn't keeping pace, your profit margin gets squeezed until, poof, it's gone. If it costs you $100 to get a customer who only spends $90, you don't have a business. You have a very expensive hobby. So the solution wasn't to find some magic bullet for cheaper ads. The real answer was to get way more value from every single customer you already have. The goal became engineering predictable expansion revenue. That's all the money you make after that very first sale. It's about creating a system that doesn't just hope for a second purchase, but intelligently guides a customer up a value ladder, meeting them with the perfect next offer at the perfect time. So this brings us right to the heart of it all. How do you actually build this system? How do you create that crucial expansion revenue? Well, it's not about just having a random grab bag of products at different prices. It's a deliberate, psychologically tuned, three-tiered blueprint. It's a true profit engine, and now we're gonna pop the hood and see how it works. The engine is built from these three interlocking parts. You can't just have one or two. The real power is in how they work together. Each one has a very specific job to do, both financially and psychologically. You've got the front-end offer, the core offer, and the premium anchor. Let's break down exactly what each one is, and more importantly, why it's there. First up, the front-end offer, often called a tripwire. This is something low cost but high value. Think $7, maybe $27. It's an easy, no-brainer yes. Now listen closely, because this is crucial. Its goal is not to make a profit. Its single-minded job is what's called self-liquidation. It's designed to make just enough money to completely cover the ad cost it took to get that customer. In other words, it lets you turn a total stranger into a paying customer for a net cost of $0. That is a complete game changer. Okay, so once you've brought in a customer at no cost and they've raised their hand and basically said, yes, I'm willing to pay for a solution like this, now you can present them with your core offer. This is your flagship product, your main service. This is the profit center. Because that person has already made that small purchase, that micro commitment, the whole dynamic is changed. The trust is there, they've gone from a skeptical browser to a confirmed buyer, which makes them way more likely to invest in your real solution. This is where you actually make your money. And finally, we have the most strategic and honestly the most misunderstood piece of this whole puzzle, the premium anchor. This is your high-ticket item, the $1,000 course, the $5,000 workshop, you name it. But here's the twist, and this is the key to the whole system. Its main job is not to be sold. Its primary function is entirely psychological. It exists to be a value frame, to totally change how customers see the price and the value of your core offer.
This table just pulls it all together beautifully. Let's walk through it. The front-end tier, that's for the skeptical, low-risk customer, and its only financial goal is to liquidate ad spend. Then you have the core offer. That's for the customer who is now committed and problem-aware, and its goal is to maximize profit. And finally, the premium anchor. It speaks to that successful, high-investment mindset, but its real job is to frame the value of the core offer. See how it all lines up? Each tier perfectly matches a business goal with where the customer is at. It's a complete, coherent system. So we've seen the what, we've defined the 3 tiers, but the real genius here isn't just in the numbers, it's in why it works so incredibly well. It's not just a clever financial model, it's deeply rooted in predictable, hardwired human psychology, in how all of us make decisions about value, about risk, and about what a good deal even is. The whole system really runs on 2 powerful psychological levers. First, there's anchoring and relativity. See, our brains don't evaluate price in a vacuum. When you see a $5,000 premium anchor right next to a $500 core offer, your brain instinctively latches onto that bigger number. It anchors your perception of value. Suddenly, that $500 offer doesn't seem expensive. In fact, it looks like a steal by comparison. The second lever is commitment and consistency. Once someone buys your $7 front-end product, they subconsciously create a buyer identity. They start to see themselves as the kind of person who buys from this brand. So later, when they see the core offer, buying it just feels like a consistent, logical next step for them. It feels natural. And what all this does is brilliant. In a world with a million choices, this clear, tiered structure acts as a confident guide. It eliminates what psychologists call decision paralysis. You know that feeling when you have too many options and you just freeze? Well, instead of overwhelming a customer, you give them a clear, logical path from a small, safe first step to a complete solution. It makes their journey feel simple, safe, and most importantly, smart. All right, so we've covered the what and the why, the theory and the psychology. Now let's get practical. How do you actually move from just understanding this to putting it into action? How do you engineer your own ascension path that reliably turns new people into your best customers? It really comes down to 3 core steps. First, you have to define the financial goal for every single product you sell. Is it there to break even on ads? Is it for pure profit? Or is its main job to be a value anchor? Every product needs a job. Second, you engineer the Ascension logic. Your front-end offer can't be random. It has to solve one small piece of a bigger problem that your core offer then solves completely. So a $7 guide to 5 keto breakfasts logically leads to a $200 complete keto transformation course. See? It has to create the need for the next step. And third, and this is the big one, you have to obey the non-negotiable rule. And this right here, this is that non-negotiable rule. It's the single most important strategic insight that makes this whole thing work. The primary purpose of your most expensive, highest value offer is not to sell. If you happen to sell a few, that's great, that's a bonus, but that is not its main job. Its real purpose is to make your core offer, your profit center, feel inevitable. It just stands there on your pricing page like a silent defender of your core offer's value. It provides the context, it crushes price objections, and it psychologically fast-tracks the sale of the product that actually runs your business. It reframes the whole decision, shifting the customer's internal question from, is this $500 offer worth it? To, wow, the $500 offer is such a great deal compared to the $5,000 version. It makes the profitable choice feel like the obvious choice. So as we wrap up, it's so important to just zoom out and really understand the core philosophy here. Offer architecture isn't just a tactic or some pricing gimmick. It is a completely new way of seeing your business, not as a collection of products, but as a single, unified strategic system designed for both customer success and your profitability. The real beauty of this system is that it acknowledges a simple truth. Not all customers are in the same place. Some are skeptical, they're curious but cautious. That's who the front-end offer is for. Some are committed. They know their problem and they're actively looking for a solution. That's who the core offer serves. And some are already successful and they want the highest level of transformation. That's the premium tier. A great portfolio doesn't treat everyone the same. It builds a clear, welcoming path for each of them.
And this is the final crucial idea to leave with. The best marketing doesn't push people through a funnel, it pulls them towards value. It's about understanding human psychology so deeply that you can build a structure where the most profitable choice for your business also feels like the smartest, safest, and most logical choice for the customer. It engineers the most profitable choice at every single level of commitment. That is the blueprint for predictable profit.